Today we are discussing about glucose transporter. Glucose transporter. The short form for that we call as a GUT. That is a glucose transporter. Today we are discussing about it. This GUT is actually acting as a carrier protein. It's actually a carrier protein. That means it is carrying the glucose. So it is a carrier protein facilitating movement of glucose across the plasma membrane, across the animal cells. Because these cells also have a plasma membrane, so there is actually the movement of the glucose across the plasma membrane of the animal cell. So GUT is actually a carrier protein which carries the glucose and takes it across the plasma membrane. Second most important thing is this GUT, it is made up of 500 amino acids having 12 transmembrane helical domains. So if for instance we will take here a plasma membrane, so this is a plasma membrane. Now it crosses, see this is a transmembrane protein, now it is crossing it 6 times, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now it is a transmembrane protein, actually it is a 12 transmembrane helical domain. So helical domain is actually crossing 6 or 12 times the what we call that one as a plasma membrane. So that's on the basis of that we call it 12 membrane helical domain. That means it is crossing it 12 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it is crossing the plasma membrane 12 times. So on the basis of that we call it as a 12 transmembrane helical domain. But it is made up of about 500 amino acids. The most important amino acids which are present here, the most important amino acids present in GUT are serine, threonine, asparagine, leucine, isoleucine, phenylalanine, and valine. So these are the most important amino acids which are present inside the GUT, that are serine, then we have threonine, then we have asparagine, leucine, isoleucine, phenylalanine, and valine. So this is actually the brief introduction about the GUT. It is a carrier protein which is facilitating the movement of glucose across the animal cell. It is made up of 500 amino acids having 12 transmembrane helical domains. The most important amino acids which are present in the GUT are serine, threonine, asparagine, leucine, isoleucine, phenylalanine, and valine. Let's have the different types of the GUTs which are present in the animal cells. Let's see them where they are present and what is their function. We'll see all that. Let's have the GUT first. We have a different type, but we'll take the most important ones. The first one we have, like we have a GUT first. This GUT first, it is actually ubiquitous in nature. It is ubiquitous in nature. That means it is present in all animal cells. That's why we call it as a ubiquitous in nature. So it's present in all cells of the animals. It is mainly responsible for basal uptake of glucose. Basal uptake of glucose. And this type of gullet is expressed on RBCs and fetal tissues. So the RBCs and fetal tissues mainly have the gullet, that's the gullet one, which is mainly responsible for basal uptake of it, because gullet is responsible for glucose transport, but here it is responsible for basal uptake of glucose. So it's expressed on RBCs and fetal tissues. Next one we have is a gullet 2. Gullet second. Now this gullet second, it is showing a bidirectional transport. It is a bidirectional transporter. Bidirectional transporter, that means transports glucose on both directions, like from intracellular matrix to extracellular matrix and from extracellular matrix to intracellular matrix. On the basis of that, we call it as a bidirectional transport. It is mainly expressed on liver, kidney, pancreas, and intestines. The next one we have is a glucose third, that is a gullet 3. Gullet 3, it is mainly expressed on neurons. It is helping in influx of glucose. It is also expressed in placental tissue. It is also expressed on placental tissue. So the placental cells also bear the gullet 3, but it is mainly expressed on neurons. It is a very important thing. So if we have a gullet 1, it is ubiquitous in nature. It is mainly present in RBCs and fetal tissues. Then after we have a gullet 2, it is showing the bidirectional transporter. It is expressed on liver, kidney, pancreas, and the intestines. Then after we have the gullet 3, which is mainly expressed on neurons, helping in influx of glucose, and it gets also expressed in the placental tissue. Then we have the next one is a gullet 4, which is the most important. The next one we have, that is a gullet 4. We have the gullet 4. This gullet 4, it is mainly expressed on liver, muscles, and adipocytes. Taking the gullet 4, it is an insulin-dependent gullet. Insulin-dependent transporter. It is an insulin-dependent transporter. Or we can also call it as an insulin-dependent glucose transporter. The most appropriate word is that it is an insulin-dependent glucose transporter. Now, in absence of insulin signaling, it is present in an intracellular vesicle. Say for instance, if I am taking a cell here, it's one cell. See, this is the same cell here. I am showing you that if there is no insulin, where is the presence of this gullet 4? If there is an insulin presence or insulin signaling is present, what is the presence of this gullet 4? Say for instance, this is an intracellular vesicle here. Say gullet 4 is present here. See, this is a gullet 4 here, which is present. See, this is a gullet 4. But you have to keep in mind, here the transport is off. That means there is no insulin signaling. No insulin signaling. So insulin signaling is absent. At that time, the gullet is present on an intracellular vesicle. But if when the insulin, what we call signaling, comes here, what happens? Now this glutamate gets expressed on the membrane of the cell. Now this is glutamate 4. Glutamate 4. Now this was here actually, now it gets transported here when there is a insulin signaling. So insulin signaling leads to the movement of the glutamate from intracellular vesicle towards the plasma membrane. So the most important thing is, in absence of, so this is the off condition and this is a on condition here. So we can simply say in absence of insulin signaling, glutamate 4 is present on intracellular vesicle. This is the most important thing which you have to keep in mind. So in absence, so this is actually a transporter, but it's dependent upon the insulin. So in absence of insulin signaling, glutamate 4 is present on this intracellular vesicle. But when the insulin signaling is there, what happens? It's a movement, it leads to the movement of the glutamate 4 towards the membrane. And we can say the transport of the influx of the glucose takes place. It's mainly expressed on liver, muscles, and the adipocytes. So the insulin dependent glutes are present in liver, muscle, and the adipocytes. And what is the insulin dependent glutamate called as? It is called as a glutamate 4. After that, we have the one more, that is known as the glutamate 5. Glutamate 5 is mainly expressed on interior sides of small intestine. So if we will take a glutamate 5, it is mainly expressed on interior sides. So it is mainly expressed on interior sides of small intestines. What are these interior sites actually? These interior sites are the columnar cells. These are columnar cells surrounding inner lining of small intestine. Inner lining of small intestines. These are mainly the absorbative cells because they are helping absorption. Say first if we take a small intestine here, say this is roughly a small intestine and it's having a columnar cell, say these columnar cells are there. If it is surrounded by a columnar cell, internal lining is having a columnar cell, then we can call these columnar cells the interior sides. These columnar cells, they also have a picker-like projection so as to increase the area for absorption. So these are absorbative cells actually, these interior sides. They mainly absorb. They are mainly responsible for transport of fructose. They are mainly responsible for transport of fructose rather than glucose. So if anybody asks, so which is the glut that is responsible for transport of the fructose? It's actually the glutamate 5. So glutamate 5 is mainly expressed on interior sides. What are the interior sides? Nothing is the columnar cells which are surrounding inner lining of the small intestine. These columnar cells have a finger-like position so as to increase the area for absorption. They transport fructose rather than glucose. Then after we have the one more that is known as the glutamate. That is glutamate 7, which is present both in large and small intestine. So the next one is a glutamate 7. Glutamate 7 we have. It is present, these are the important ones which I am discussing. It is present on both small intestines and large intestines. They are also present on ER. They are also, this glutamate 7, it is also present present on ER, endoplasmic reticulum, leads movement of glucose from cytosol to ER. So this is the most important one, gullet cell, which is also present on ER. ER is the important thing you have to keep in mind, that it's leading to the movement of glucose from cytosol to ER. That is a gullet cell. So these are the most important types of the gullets, which gets expressed on the different cells of the animals, leading to the movement of the glucose and helping the cells, leading to the movement of glucose and helping the cells to take the glucose forward for energy. Now with one more important thing, that is, lesser the Km value of the gullet, higher will be the affinity of the gullet with the glucose. Say for instance, we have a lesser the affinity of lesser the Km value of gullet, more will be affinity with glucose. More will be affinity of glucose, affinity of gullet with glucose, That means if the Km value, that is the Mitchell-Mentz constant, if the Km value of the gullet is lesser the Km value of the gullet, more will be affinity of gullet with glucose. Say for instance, if we have Km values of gullet, so we have Km values of gullet, say this is a gullet first, its Km value is 30 millimolar. Then after we have a gullet second, its Km value is 5 millimolar. Then after we have a gullet third, its Km value is 15 millimolar. So you have to ask it, which gullet is having the more affinity with the glucose? So the answer will be second one, because the Km value here is less. Lesser the Km value, more will be the affinity of gullet with the glucose. So this you have to keep in mind.